can spread out. Come into a symmetrical, relaxed position. You can shrug your shoulders down. And then just let your body rest. Feeling the rise and fall of your rib cage as you breathe. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed or open them. So let's start with just the right arm overhead, and we'll stretch out through the right arm, but try and keep the left side relaxed. So isolating tension just on one side of the body, reaching through the right, softening, relaxing through the left. And then release. Slide the right arm down, relax that. Take the left arm overhead, reach out through the left. Soften and let go through the right. Active, long through the left. Passive, relaxed through the right. And then release. Now take both arms overhead, reach as long as you can. Interlace your fingers, press out through your palms, flex your feet. And then release, bring your right knee to your chest. Hug that knee in, give it a little rock. As if you're pushing the air out of your lungs. And then holding behind your leg, flex and straighten your heel up towards the ceiling, and then point and bend your knee back in nice and close. And keep going like this. Flex and straighten, point and bend, flex and straighten, point and bend. And then flex and straighten, keep your leg up there, circle your ankle. Couple times one way, couple times the other way. Bend your knee in, open your knee out to the right, and then straighten whatever amount you're able out to the side. Could be just a little bit straight or all the way or anywhere in between. And then release, bend your knee, and bring it across for a spinal twist. Open out through the right arm, let your knee and shoulder reach away from one another. And then staying in your twist, try straightening your right leg on a low diagonal. Right arm on a high diagonal, fingers and toes reaching away from one another. Release, roll back onto your back. Bring both knees in. Take a circle, a rock. And then grab hold of just your left knee, drop the right leg long, and maybe give this a little rock. Trying to release a little bit more into that hip crease. Hold behind your leg, flex your heel up, point your toes and bend it in. Flex and straighten, point and bend. Flex and straighten, point and bend. And then flex and straighten. Hold it up there. Circle your ankle. Big a circle as you can, both ways. Bend your knee in. Open it out to the side. You're welcome to keep it bent or straighten it some amount. Exploring your limits, what's possible here, what's useful here. Release, bend your knee, bring it across. Spinal twist. Open out through the left arm, let your knee and shoulder reach away from one another. And then try straightening, left leg on a low diagonal, left arm on a high diagonal. Release, roll back onto your back. Bring both knees in, take a circle or rock. Then make your way up to sitting. Let's come into a comfortable cross-legged position. You might sit up on something, a blanket or cushion. And let's bring one elbow on top of the other and put some pressure between the elbows like you're going to pull them apart. And this can open up the upper back. And then lift the elbows, lift the chest, and take a little circle. And just exploring one or two circles one way, one or two circles the other way, spreading the upper back, the rib cage, between the shoulder blades. Notice which arm is on top, release, and take a couple gentle swings. Let's bring the other arm on top. And then take a couple of circles with the upper body. Go in both directions and move at the pace that you're able to feel. And then release, a couple gentle swings. Let's bring hands to the floor behind us, fingers facing forward. Roll the shoulders and elbows back and then lift your heart. Take it as high as you can. Like you're filling up a balloon in the chest. Release, come up, hands to knees. Round back, lean away from your hands on your knees, drop your chin. Roll your way up. And let's recross the legs so the other leg is in front or on top. Sitting nice and tall, drop your right ear over to right shoulder, press down through the left shoulder. Rotate your chin to your chest. Come over to the other side, both shoulders drop, but now more through the right. Rotate chin to chest. Come over to the other side and then go back and forth. Next time your chin is to your chest, stay there. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Let the weight of your arms hang, stretching the back of the neck. And then arms drop, head floats up. Hands to the floor behind you again, shoulders back, elbows back. Lift the heart. Take it a little bit higher. And then release. Come up, hands to knees. Round back. Roll your way up. And let's bring feet to the floor. Hip width apart. Shift your hands to the floor in front of your feet and then take a rock front to back. Try and have your feet and knees pointing straight ahead. So if your toes are turned out or knees are turned out, bring them forward. And then you're just working with your mobility. You don't have to get heels to the floor or go any further than works for you. Stretching toes as you go forward, calves and ankles as you go back. Let's drop the heels down. Lift the hips up. Shift your weight back to hang and ragdoll. You might take a little bounce or sway or shake out here. Letting go. Take any arm position. So you could just let your arms hang, but you could also use support through your arms. You might rest elbows on thighs or hands on ankles or blocks. Let's plant the hands near the front of the mat and step back into a high push-up position. Plank. Try and set the shoulders right above the wrists. Reach out through the top of the head, lifting the whole underside, the shins, the thighs, the belly, the chest, the front of the neck, all equally lifting up as if you could take your whole body a little bit higher away from the floor. Shift your weight forward. As you lower down, bend the elbows straight back. Let's come all the way down. Start to lift the head and chest, coming into a little baby cobra. Just feeling how this is. You might stay here. You might come up a bit higher, a little bit higher cobra. Or even up dog. You can adjust, experiment, feel around. How is this now? And then let's come back to down dog. Lift the hips up, up and away. You can pedal out your feet here, bending one knee. Just press the opposite heel towards the floor. Waking up the backs of the legs. You might shift the hip side to side. And then drop your knees. Let's sink back to child's pose, releasing hips to the heels, forehead to the floor. With arms out in front of you, walk your hands over to the left and then pull back through your right hip, stretching right side a little more. Come through center and over to the other side. Pull back through your left hip, stretching the left side a bit more. Come back to center. Let's lift up onto hands and knees, tabletop. We'll get set up for a twist, thread the needle. So from hands and knees, lift your left arm up as high up as you can, and then curl from fingertips down, thread it right behind your wrist, come onto your shoulder inside of your head, and then push your right hand into the floor or into the bottom forearm. You could also take your right arm up or behind your back. And playing around inside the pose, finding what's interesting. Unwind back to neutral. Take a few rolls through the spine, arching and curving on your own time. Back to neutral. Let's take the same thing other side. Right arm lifts up. Curl from fingertips down, thread it through, and keep going until you come onto your shoulder inside of your head, and then push the left hand into the floor or into the bottom forearm, opening up through that top shoulder. Release, unwind. Back to neutral, arch and curve. Let's come back through down dog, hips high. And then all the way to sitting. Let's extend the legs forward. Flesh of the sit bones back. Get as long as you can on the backs of the legs. And use your hands for support as you fold forward. That could be on the feet, something like a strap around the feet, or on the floor. Lengthen and fold. Inhale to look up. Exhale, release. Let's come onto our backs. Bring your knees back in. Little Massage the lower back, rocking your weight around. And then grab your block or something like a block. We're going to come into a supported bridge. So with feet on the floor, lift your hips up, slide your prop under your sacrum, a little lower than the lower back, and then rest your hips down onto it. And you can play around with the height and position of your prop. Try and find a height that works for you, letting your hips rest down. We're going to stretch the fronts of the hips. So we can bring the right knee into the chest, grab hold of it, take it in as close as you can, and then straighten the left leg and let that straight left leg hang so the front of the hip opens up a little bit more. The more you hug your knee in, the more you let that straight leg hang, the more of an opening there can be on the front of the hip. Let's switch. Bring your left knee in. Drop the right leg long. Squeeze that left knee in close. Let that straight right leg hang. Last breath here. Let's come to neutral. So that could be both knees in, could be both feet back on the floor, or it could be both legs straight, either up in the air or along the floor. And if you need to lower or adjust your props, feel free to do so. We're going to come into a position that's almost totally passive. So if you can find the place where it's almost like the bones are stacked and the muscles are just resting, hanging on the bones. And take all the time in the world to release. You might move through a different leg position, take a little movement, eventually taking your props out of your way. Take happy baby as a little counter stretch, grabbing the soles of the feet on the inside. Pressing your knees towards the floor, and this can be done in stillness or with a little rocking. You can keep your legs bent or try straightening them. Let's get ready for our final resting pose. If there's anything else you need to do to feel complete in your practice, take your time. Adjusting your clothing, self-massage, movement, maybe some last pose. Really anything or nothing. Eventually settling into a symmetrical, relaxed position. can let go of the control of your breath, let go of all the doing. You can begin to move your wrists and ankles, your fingers and toes. Take a stretch out. When you're ready, bring your knees in and roll to one side. And use your hands to help you up to sitting. Hands together at the heart. Namaste. Thank you.